If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got, by Henry Ford. Mic drop.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Henry Ford, talk about inspirational, powerful person.
I know a little bit about Henry Ford.
Do you?
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
The assembly line.
Yeah, the assembly line.
The Ford Model T. Yeah.
Look at you. I didn't even need to do research.
And he's one of the pioneers of the Industrial Revolution.
What do you guys know about Henry Ford?
That's about the extent of my knowledge.
That's it. I mean, that's pretty much Henry Ford in a nutshell.
Yep.
If you guys haven't joined our podcast in a while, we're doing a new format to where we cover a inspirational quote
from inspirational people.
And we talk about the quote, we talk about the person, and then we break it down.
Yeah, we make it relevant to us and what our journeys and what we're going through, the small business community, really, and even personal, because you kind of, those two lives blur a lot, especially if you're a small business owner. Your personal life is your business.
Why not learn from people that have already done it?
Exactly.
So Henry Ford was born in 1863 and he died in 1947. He was the developer of Ford Motor Company.
Wow.
I'm sure you guys all knew that. He was born in Michigan and he started Ford Motor in 1903. This is a quote from Ford. In 1892, I completed my first motor car powered by a 2-cylinder 4-horsepower motor. What are motors now? How many horsepower?
They're like 400,
oh, really?
450.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Big difference.
Yeah.
With a 2.5-inch bore and a 6-inch stroke. Us non-car people have no idea what that means, but sounds great. Which was connected to a counter shaft by a belt and then 2 rear wheel by a chain. The belt was shifted by a clutch lever to control speeds at 10 or 20 miles per hour, augmented by a throttle. 10 or 20 miles per hour is what the first car went. Other features include 28-inch wire bicycle wheels with rubber tires, a foot brake, a 3-gallon gasoline tank, 3 gallons. Wow. What are we right now? Like 20?
I think they're like 15, 16. Well, 15, the big cars 16. Are like 20. Sedans are like 15.
And later, a water jacket around the cylinders for cooling. Ford added that in the spring of 1893, the machine was running to my partial satisfaction and giving an opportunity further to test out the design and material on the road. Between 1895 and 1896, so around a year, he drove that machine about 1,000 miles. I mean, that's pretty cool. 1,000 miles back then, that was a long time.
I bet people were looking at him like, who is this?
You crazy, man.
Who's this alien?
A car? The introduction of the Model T in 1908, it revolutionized the transportation industry. Mm-hmm. It gave the regular person an opportunity to have an automobile.
Yep.
And so you said a couple of things that he's known for, I think that most people know, but he was he transformed the working industry also.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the first pioneers of the 5-day work week. Did you know that?
No.
He decided that, hey, let's make a 5-day work week. I don't know how many days there were.
4 and 3-day work weeks.
Exactly, yeah. Now they're getting a little lazy. And another thing that he did was helped pioneer the franchise system, franchising businesses, meaning you can...
Like duplicating your business,
mm-hmm.
letting other people run it.
Sell it. Yeah.
Very cool.
So there's a lot of things that Henry Ford contributed. And I think this quote goes amazingly well with he definitely did what he said.
Yeah.
Because in order to create a vehicle that had never been done before in a way that had never been done before, you're doing it different.
Yep.
He transformed the way that people worked. That's way different.
Mm-hmm.
Just so many things that he did. Did you know that he also got into aviation building airplane motors
Really?
during World War
Not
One.
surprising. Not surprising.
Yeah, he did a lot.
The guy, again, one of those geniuses, right? Like the Elon Musk level. At that time, he was the Elon Musk.
Yeah.
That's what I think when it comes to just the mind of a genius. And you have to sit there and wonder, looking at this, bringing it to the quote, right? He was one of those people that did not believe in doing the same thing over and over and over and over again.
Unless it was on the assembly line.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it was something that could be done over, they found a way to automate it. He found a way to automate.
Yeah, he was one of the first automators.
Yep.
That's very true.
Yep.
With people, using people. Yeah.
Those redundancies, those things that are, that are done all the time, the same way every day, that were taking up time. Hence, he's like, we can go to 5-day work week now. We automated this process.
Pretty cool guy. All right.
Innovator.
So let's break down the quote. I know you've got lots of good notes on this. So if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. What does that mean? What does that mean to you guys? We want to hear from you.
Yeah. Post some stuff over there so that we can engage and kind of like build on this together. But I did break it down. So the two sections, right? If you always do what you've always done, right? Let's break that down. And here's what I wrote. I said, this part of the quote highlights the behavior of repeating the same actions, right? So like repetitive. If you just repeating the same actions, the same strategies or practices without any variation, that means you're just going through the motions. That's the first part of the quote.
It reminds me of another quote, the one about insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is the definition of insanity.
Exactly. So they relate. The two, the first half and definition of insanity relate, right? Think about that. The second part is you'll always get what you've always got, right? And this implies that the results or outcomes will remain unchanged if the same methods are continuously applied. That means nothing's going to change. That means you're going to keep doing it. So you're going to go insane, right? You're going to keep doing the same thing, hoping that you'll get some type of better result from it when you won't, right? So it's going to drive you insane. It's going to stress you out. You'll lose motivation. You'll just get tired and then you'll quit.
One thing that comes to mind with this too is advertising with businesses. That's the industry that my main business is advertising.
Yep.
And businesses get frustrated because they're like, nobody comes to my door. I'm losing money, but they're not willing to do something different with their advertising or spend money on advertising. And then they wonder why people don't come.
Yeah. Yeah, because your customers, your clients, your potential market is a fickle. Like people change the way they relate to things and why they buy something. It's not always the same way. Stop just being comfortable. And as a matter of fact, look at that. Look at my top one.
Marketing strategies. Look at you. We're so in line.
It's great.
Yeah.
But it's so true. So an example of that is relying solely on word of mouth or local newspaper ads is the old way of marketing, right? It's still a good way, but if that's all you're relying on, you're not going to get too far, right? Because word of mouth, imagine if you solely rely on word of mouth, the only people that will be able to give you word of mouth are people that had an interaction with you, right? So how are you going to get people to have interaction with you if you're waiting on people to have an interaction with you? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not going to work. So the new approach would be embracing digital, right? Embracing digital marketing, using social media platforms, email marketing, Google ads, using the tools that are out there to be able to cast a wider net and get a wider audience.
I will say too, a lot of businesses that I talk to say that they don't do any advertising. They only rely on word of mouth. But then when I dig deeper and I'm like, oh, really? Well, how do you get that word of mouth? They're like, oh, we send out a text message as a reminder, or we do an email, or we reach out afterwards, or we have a QR code for them to scan. And I'm like, you are doing word of mouth, but you're also doing an additional step to that. Yeah.
Yeah. You are. Well, I think nowadays, technology is such a part of our lives that we don't really realize that sometimes. Imagine if we realized how if we utilize that stuff properly, how much of an impact it would have on our businesses.
Insane amount.
Crazy.
Intentional about applying those things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real. Like, I got to get better at that too.
I mean, it's something you have to take time in.
Hmm.
You can't, and I mean, that goes along with the quote too. You can't just keep doing what you've always done and just get in a steady flow of things and expect it to take off. I'm really
Yep.
excited to get into, after this, we're going to talk about some businesses that have applied this tool and
Yeah.
have been successful, this rule, I should say. I'm pumped about one. I'm like, I cannot wait to talk about one of them. Yeah. But I think, I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about the implications, right?
Okay.
So what I have is for local business. My stuff was just, how does this affect business, right? Because this can affect us personally in our personal lives, but we're geared towards business. Kind of our conversation is always geared towards business, so I kept it there, and right, and it's like for local businesses, the quote is very relevant to us, right? It suggests that if we want to grow and attract more customers, or if we even want to increase our profits, right, we got to consider new strategies rather than relying on the same old, right? You have to be willing to incorporate new ways and methods to reach out to your potential customers and clients in order to really grow. And that takes getting out of what you're comfortable doing.
You might be getting into this in one of your bullet points. I might be jumping forward, but it takes risk
Hmm.
to be able to do that too. Typically, it's not something that you just do and you're like, oh, this is a win. Moving on.
Yeah.
It takes risk. It takes trying new things. It takes failing. We've talked about that over and over again. So it's not something that you're just like jumping on and it's successful and you're riding the roller coaster
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah. And on a different thing that I was reading when I was looking for what to talk about today, there was it went into how getting out of your comfort zone, getting out of that hamster wheel is going to take a level of uncomfort, right? If you're uncomfortable, right, it can actually provide you with good results because it forces you, number one, it'll increase your stress level a little bit. There has to be a balance there, right? You don't want to get overstressed because then you become unproductive, right? But if you have a certain level of stress and uncomfortability, it forces you or brings you into a level where you're thinking of strategies to, overcome that, right? And implementing new strategies to overcome that stress because you want to feel comfortable, right? So, but you have to be able to make yourself a little uncomfortable to get to a level where it's like a constant moving goalpost, right? On stress. You got to have a level of stress as a business owner. You got to always feel some type of level of stress to be able to innovate.
Or you're not pushing hard enough.
You're not pushing hard enough. What does comfort equal?
Steady.
Stagnance.
Yeah. That's the word. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you're comfortable, you're not doing anything different. Everything is the same. So you kind of lose productivity. Everything becomes redundant. And then eventually what's going to happen is you're just going to lose motivation if you're too comfortable.
And if you think about it, every good thing comes from being uncomfortable at first.
Exactly.
Every good thing. Having a baby, having kids. I mean, that was like one of the scariest things I've ever done. They hand me this thing and I'm like, what do you want me to do with this?
Right.
It's very uncomfortable.
Yep.
But after practice, you learn, you learn by the second kid. I only have two, but from what I hear, by the fourth kid, you're like, oh, this is nothing. It's just all you have. Yeah.
I can definitely attest to that.
Yes.
It's easy.
Walking into a new church, that's uncomfortable. Going to a new school.
Buying a house, buying a car, all these major purchases that people make are very uncomfortable.
But it also, once you get experience in doing it, once you take that step, it becomes easier and easier. Buying your second house is way easier than buying your first house.
Yep. They say
as long as it's the right circumstances.
Yep.
Yeah.
They say that the hardest thing in anything new is that first step. That's the hardest thing because that's what gives you the most level of uncomfortability, right? Is because there's a level of you don't know what's on the other side of that first step. So everybody's afraid to take it. You're too stressed. I can't take that first step. I don't know. It's going to take me out of my comfort zone. I'm going to fail. I'm going to fall on my face. You don't know until you take that step. So people that aren't allowing themselves to be held back and not taking that step are the ones that are going to reap the benefits of being able to, grow. Like, I'm still stressing out with this location here that we're
Yeah.
creating. Like,
Your grand opening is coming up.
so that's my level of stress now, because we have that grand opening date is like, boom, because now it's
It's
real.
real.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
Now I have to do it. Like, it's real. I got to make this successful now. So now all I could think about is how am I going to make sure that happens?
But it also helps you get targeted, focused on what you need to do.
Oh, yeah.
By taking that first step, setting a goal and taking that first step, now you're like, okay, I need to walk this way.
Yes, exactly. It added so much focus, because before the grand opening date, I was kind of, yeah, I was like, oh, I'll get to that. Oh, we'll do that. Yeah. There was there was an urgency, but there wasn't really like a real sense of urgency to get this place done and ready to go.
And you definitely took a step of faith doing something new.
Yeah.
I mean, your business is a great example of that. This is a pretty new concept,
Yeah.
especially on this area of town. And you're like, I'm tired of doing the same old, same old. I'm going to try
Right.
something new.
Yeah.
You took a step of faith. I'm sure it was scary, but your second location is going to be way easier than your first.
That's right. That's right. Because this is building the model for that. So
Yeah.
good stuff.
Good
Wow.
stuff. So what else you got? What other bullet points you got? I'm excited to get into my people.
Let's go into the people.
Let's hear from Lorneth first.
Good segue.
Lorneth's
Yes.
always got some good information for us.
This is
So we're
awesome.
going to hear from Lorneth, and then we'll get into more. I'm excited.
Yeah, this is going to be good.
We're just taking a break. I'm going to insert it.
I was looking at you looking for Lauren.
Whenever, I don't know what changed, but when we play the videos live like this, I'm going to have to figure it out for next week. Next week we'll do it like we normally do, but they can hear us talking.
Really?
I don't know how to get rid of that. It changed from moving it from the old studio to the studio for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm thinking I have to like redo the whole thing from the beginning, like delete all of this and start over.
What changed with the computer?
Nothing.
It was just unplugging it and plugging it back in, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
Is Christina?
Yeah, we'll do
Maybe
one for her
Christina
too.
Okay.
Yep.
So when do you want to bring that video in? After we talk about a couple people?
Yeah, let's talk about a couple people and then we'll bring her in.
And then we'll go to the closing out thing.
Yep.
All right.
Sounds
like a
good.
plan. Sounds like a plan. Yeah, you got some people to talk about. I can talk about a couple businesses.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool.
So let's talk about the people, and then I can talk about, and then we'll go into Christina, and then I'll talk about the free resource.
Okay.
How about that?
Cool.
Okay.
That was great.
That was great.
She always provides some nuggets of good information.
Lovin' Miss Lorneth.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some peeps.
This
McLean
is where
hates
it
when I
gets
call him
good.
peeps, my husband.
Does
He's
he?
like, peeps, those are the things that you eat on Easter.
The nastiest candies in the world. I don't know how those things have lasted so long.
I don't know.
Those marshmallow with the sugar on top. Colored sugar.
Because it's such a fun word. Our peeps.
I would the word, but the candy itself. It's like, how is that stuff still around?
It is really bad.
That's one of those things that just like, I don't know. They've lasted forever just because it's just now part of the process.
Part
I
of
guess.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys like peeps? Let us know. That was way off subject. Okay, can I talk about mine first?
Let's do it.
Okay, because I'm so excited about this one. You guys are going to think I'm nuts. It's crazy that we're doing this podcast at this time and talking about this subject because I've been binge watching videos on this organization that has completely transformed a sport that I really love. My son is a huge baseball player, and we love baseball. We're a baseball family, and I haven't been able to go watch this organization live yet because they are killing it. And I am just, our whole team, what we did the last couple weeks is I've been sending our team videos on, like my business team, videos on this. It's just so inspiring to me, so incredibly inspiring. And I realized the reason why it's so inspiring is because of their story. And they took a sport that for 90% of the population is extremely boring,
Mm-hmm.
and they have made it so much fun and so entertaining. And it's much like Henry Ford. They took something that was existing in a certain way, but they completely transformed it.
Yeah.
And he's not. One thing that I love that they say, and I'll talk about the organization in a minute.
I'm
If
like,
you guys know what I'm talking
who
about,
is it
put
already?
it in the comments. They took they realized that they're not in baseball. They're in
Okay.
entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that switch in mindset helped them really accommodate their fans and create something different and unique. Do you guys know who the Savannah Bananas are?
Never heard of them. Is that a team?
It's a team.
Okay.
Yes, it's a team. The
Minor
Savannah
league?
Bananas. What is it?
Are they a minor league team or
It's a league that, so they are in the,
like they're fastball?
yeah. What league are they in? They're in the Coastal Plain League. I don't even know what that is.
That's probably some semi-pro or minor league team out
Yes.
there.
And so go, when you're done, don't do it now, but when we're done with
Savannah
this
Bananas.
podcast, go on TikTok or YouTube Shorts and look up the Savannah Bananas and just watch some of their things. It's hilarious. So basically what they did is they put in a huge risk.
Yeah.
He bought this team in Savannah, spent millions of dollars on it.
Wow.
And they're like, okay, how can we transform baseball? So they started incorporating all of these things. You can't, there are no bunts. I think there's no strikeouts. I don't know. I've never been again, but I really want to go because they have like millions of people on their waiting list
So this
to
is
watch
a
these.
league.
It's a league. It's a team. It's a team that plays in a league. And
Oh, but that's their strategy.
that's their strategy.
So they will not punt. They will not.
If a fan catches a foul ball, it's an out.
Okay.
They dance. The first video that I ever saw of the Savannah Bananas was like the pitcher going to throw a pitch, and instead of pitching, he danced he danced. The umpires get into it. The umpires do skits, and like the players will do like, it's almost, the
Harlem Globetrotters.
Harlem Globetrotters for basketball. Yes,
I
it's
love
very
it.
similar to that, but it's for baseball.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
whether you like baseball or not, whether you think it's a silly idea or not, the fact is they took the sport and they created entertainment from it, and they did something different, and they took a huge risk. And when you look at their story, he talks about how they, like their very first game, they didn't even sell it. They sold 2 tickets, I think. And like one guy even gave them a donation and was like, I feel bad for you, so here's a donation. And then another thing that they decided to do is your ticket includes food, unlimited food.
Wow.
And so like their first game, they had all the burgers and the hot dogs and things out, and they like sold way more. They ran out of food and like whatever.
Yeah.
But they learned from that. So then they put the drinks first and the snacks first, so that by the time you got to the burgers, your hands were full with stuff. Yeah. Yes. But they tried different segments as they were getting, and some of them were a complete failure and people hated. But it's this whole journey of the Savannah Bananas and how they had this vision of transforming baseball. A lot of the stuff that they tried was a complete, utter failure, but they learned from it and they tried new things. And now they're in this place where they've got millions of people that are wanting to see them perform, play. And it's just made such a fun thing of the sport. So
I love that. That's a testament, number one, to not fearing failure, right? Utilizing failure as a learning experience and not being afraid to, test. So they tested the market real time.
with millions of dollars on the line.
Oof.
Talk about
I would have died of a heart attack
stressful.
already. I would have died of a heart attack.
And they've got millions of dollars on the line, and the first couple games were like a total.
Yeah.
Could
I
you
can
imagine
the stress.
quit? Like, how hard would it be to continue to be like, okay, this was a learning experience. Let's keep on going. Such a hard thing, but they did it.
And now they're Crushing it.
Crushing it.
So their games are sold out.
Sold out. Like,
Really?
huge waiting list. They came to Nashville and we went to go see them, and it was like impossible. It was impossible.
Who did they play in Nashville? Was the Sounds?
I don't remember.
So, or they
I
probably
just
had
knew
like
it
some
was them.
exhibition game in Nashville.
I'm not sure.
They're probably
I don't know
traveling
the
now.
answer to that. Oh yeah, they are traveling. It's a
If
part
it's
of
like
the
the
league.
Harlem Globetrotter style theme type, then they just travel. They do exhibition games throughout the nation, probably.
Probably.
Interesting. I'd like to see them.
Yeah, another thing that they invested heavily in is social media.
Yeah.
They got really big on social media. And one thing that one of the founders said that was like hit home to me is fans first. That's what they really focused on,
Right.
was putting their fans first. And that's what has really helped them transform. So everything that they think about, it's like, how do we make this better experience for our fans?
You know, it's good that he's got that mindset, because if you look at a lot of the sporting events now, like they're struggling to fill these stadiums today.
We went to a Sounds game not too long ago and it was empty.
Yeah. And those are pretty fun. Like the
Mhm.
Sounds are pretty fun. They incorporate the, engagement, fan engagement and stuff like that. But it seems like they need to start studying with Savannah Bananas.
Savannah Bananas.
Check them out. Start studying some of their techniques.
Oh gosh, they're hilarious. It's just motivating. It's a motivational story. I think they've just got a great outlook on things. They've got a great story. Whether you think it's dumb or not, it's the story that makes an impact. It's motivational to me. It's really helped me. It's given me an extra boost in my business because I can relate a lot. What we're doing is very different. We're doing something, and I'm talking about local Clarksville, specifically local in my city, which is my full-time business.
Yep.
It is, we're connecting the community with the local businesses, and there's a lot of ways that a lot of organizations have done it, but we're trying to do it in a new, fresh way out of the box.
Yeah.
And we've failed a lot, and we've tried some things that haven't worked, and it really hasn't taken off like I had hoped. It has in our city, but we're wanting to expand into other cities, and it's been a really big challenge. So it was just motivational for me to listen to his story and the struggles that they went through and how he kept on going and how he learned and grew from failure. And I'm also an innovator. Like, I'm not afraid to take risks and try new things. And on the other side of that, sometimes it's scary because you've got other people that are vested also in your dream and your vision, and you don't want to let them down.
Right. That's true. That's another reason. That's another stress thing that holds people back, is because you have people relying on you. You have partners, you have employees, you have all these people relying on you, that if you fail in that step, then you're going to potentially let a lot of people down. But if you are successful in that, then you're going to make a lot of people happy.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, how do you weigh that?
One thing that hit me too that is just coming to my mind about them is when he first bought the Savannah Bananas and they had this idea and started, people hated them. They hated their idea. They were angry at them. They were
messing up the sport.
And they were mad when they picked the bananas as their mascot. They thought it was so dumb. They had so much hate at the beginning of it.
Wow.
And I think that's a really important thing to remember too, as an entrepreneur, as a visionary, as somebody that's stepping outside the box and trying new things, is at the beginning, most people are not going to get it. They're not going to get your vision. And they're going to be negative, and they're going to give you a hard time. And that's going to be really hard to step through, because you're going to doubt yourself. But if you keep on going, if you've got a vision and a good idea, go for it.
Keep going. Keep going. Don't be afraid to keep going. Continue to do your research. Continue to take those steps, because something's going to stick. Something is going to stick. Wow, that's a good story.
It's so great.
I'm going to check them out.
Yeah, not now, but when we're done, you guys go on and you look at some videos from the Savannah Bananas if you don't know who they are.
Yeah. Cool.
I have another one, but I know you've got some too, so I'll move it over.
Go to yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold.
Yeah.
What is he famous for saying?
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Hasta la vista, baby. Was that Arnold too? I think it was. So Arnold Schwarzenegger is another one that I have on my list, because he started as a bodybuilder.
Mm-hmm.
He won Mr.
Olympians.
Olympia 7
Yeah.
times. And that's what he got famous as, was a bodybuilder, but he got into acting and then he got into politics. And that was way, I'm sure, out of his comfort zone. And now
Yep.
he's known more as an actor than he is anything else.
Yep. And he was governor of California.
Yeah, from 2003 to 2011. I was
Mm-hmm.
living in California when that happened.
Really?
I saw Arnold several times in restaurants and around town because I worked in Sacramento.
Arnold.
Yeah. He's a lot bigger in person than, like, he's a big man.
He's a big dude.
Mhm.
I mean, if you're Mr. Olympian,
Yeah.
you're not a little guy.
Yes. And so I didn't really necessarily agree with his politics.
Yeah.
But he's a Hollywood guy. So yeah, he started in bodybuilding. I don't get as excited as Arnold as I do the Savannah Bananas, but I think he is another example of somebody that went out of his comfort zone and tried
Yeah.
something new
And was successful at it.
and was successful.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're not successful. Look at Michael Jordan.
True.
He went from basketball to baseball and golf.
Yeah.
And he was not great at those. But that's
True.
okay. He tried it.
And he went back to basketball and became a businessman in basketball, owning teams. Obviously, his shoes, you know, he found a way to be successful by he tried different things to be, and he found what was really good and grew that stuff. So he's a billionaire.
A billionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's a big guy.
So sometimes you fail.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You just learn from it.
No one becomes a billionaire not failing. Let's just say that. If you know anyone that became a billionaire that's never failed in life, please share that person. Because I want to
interview them.
I want to know the secret. Yeah, for real. Because
All
that's
right.
amazing.
Who you got? I'm done.
Right.
I got all my notes.
I got some not so fun ones, but I got some businesses. So anybody ever heard of a company called Domino's Pizza?
Domino's.
Yeah.
Yeah, their pizza's nasty.
Yeah, it's not the best pizza.
I'm sorry, Domino's. I'm sorry.
I am all for mom and pop pizza joints.
Yeah.
I love that. There's nothing better. Granted, all these franchise pizza places and fast food joints, they have a reason to exist. Quick.
Thanks to Henry Ford.
Yeah, all that stuff, automated, everything's the same, quick, whatever, all that good stuff. But Domino's has a pretty cool little way. They were almost bankrupt. Like there was a time where nobody wanted Domino's, right? Nobody wanted Domino's pizza because it was just horrible. So the way they used to do things was Domino's Pizza was known for its mediocre pizza. All right, we already know that, and was struggling with poor customer satisfaction and declining sales. Like, I remember the time when they were really struggling and they were trying all these new things. Like, you would get pizza free if it didn't come in 30 minutes.
I remember that.
Remember that? So they tried all these new things to increase sales. So here's one thing. In 2009, Domino's launched a bold new strategy called the Pizza Turnaround campaign. So they acknowledged their shortcomings in quality and completely revamped their pizza recipe, improving the crust, sauce, and cheese. They also invested heavily in technology, creating a user-friendly online ordering system and mobile app, right? And so what this included was, if you were not satisfied with your pizza, you know, they would refund you your money and give you some more pizza your way. So there's like this whole campaign around that.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool. So this strategic shift.
That's a big risk.
It is. It is, because if your pizza's not good in the beginning, you're going to be doing a lot of refunds, right?
Or trying to figure out who's really saying that their pizza's bad and who's just saying it to get free stuff.
Well, that whole 30-minute thing that they had, the whole 30-minute deal, a lot of people were taking advantage of that. You know, they were just lying about the pizza getting there in more than 30 minutes so they can get the free food. People are just stupid, you know.
Yeah.
People are just crazy. So, but the strategic shift resulted in a significant improvement in customer satisfaction, right? And a dramatic increase in sales. So Domino's became a leader in the digital ordering space. So they really created that cool online ordering system. You can actually see the progress of their pizza when you order it.
Oh, that's cool.
We received your order. It's being prepared. Now it's in the oven. Now this person has got it and they're delivering it. So that's a pretty cool experience, right? So now they're a leader in that ordering space. And over 60% of their sales come from that online ordering thing.
Interesting.
Yep. So increases their stock prices, and they're one of the top pizza chains globally, even though they're not the best pizza. But the
Interesting.
fact that they incorporated those different strategies, because they realized if we don't do something, we're gone.
We're going to be finito.
Yeah, we're out of business. So we got to figure something out.
Interesting. Now that you say that, I don't think I've had Domino's since 2009, so it might be better now. It was like the pizza to get when you're a kid because it's so bland.
Right.
The kids love it.
And it was small, the little small slices. So it was like it was made for kids, kind of, because a small slice, then you can eat a whole pizza.
Yeah.
Or it's a small pizza, and you think you're whatever. Anyway. Although, I think they pioneered the smaller pizza slices style, too.
Yeah. Now that you say that, I do.
Right?
It was small.
Between
I
them
wonder
and
if it's
Pizza
still
Hut.
that way. I know they added garlic, like they added flavoring to their dough too. They did some things. Yeah.
Yeah, well, now they do all kinds of stuff.
Well, go Domino's. Way to not give up. Way to do something different.
You're right.
Not always do it like you've always done. That's a great example.
Yeah. You have to. You have to. Here's another good one. Who remembers, who uses Netflix now? Does anybody watch Netflix?
Yeah.
Everybody watches Netflix, right? Everybody watches Netflix.
Aren't we supposed to? Did we move on from Netflix? I'm getting old, so that's a possibility.
But do you remember when Netflix was doing the actual DVDs?
Oh, yeah.
Like
Blockbuster?
Yeah, they had Blockbuster tried to get into that space. They were the stores. So you had to go to your local store for Blockbuster to rent it, which I used to love going to Blockbuster when they had the new release days and all that back in the day. I'm aging myself. But anyway.
Netflix had the red boxes, right? Where you would go rent them? Is that how they started?
They were online.
Oh, okay.
Well, did they have boxes?
I don't know.
They may have.
Maybe not.
I think they were by mail. Yeah, as a matter of fact, they were by mail. So Netflix started as a DVD rental by mail service. Yep, you would create an account with them, and you could rent a certain amount of DVDs a month or something like that. Or for a certain amount of days. You can watch it for a certain amount of days, you return it, and get another one.
I love our digital movie system now because I was awful, just like library books. I don't let my kids get library books. Like they have to read them at the library because I'm terrible.
You lose them.
So bad. That was a bad thing about all the DVDs back then. I had so many fees from Blockbuster, like never. I think there was a movie that we had, I think we paid for it like 3 times because after you keep it for a while, they're like, you just have to pay for the movie and then they give you all the fees.
We don't even want it back. It's all scratched up now. Dusty.
Anyways, are you guys like me? Returning packages too is awful.
Well, you can do that here now.
We can.
Anyway, so what do you think happened, right? There was a change, right? There was a shift in consumer behavior towards online streaming. So that's when, around that time, that's when, you ever hear of Napster?
Oh, yeah.
Remember
they were
those
music,
pirate
right?
shops? Yeah. But you can also do video. And YouTube came out around that time. So there's a big transformation into online watching, right? So Netflix recognized that shift and transitioned from a DVD rental service to a streaming service in 2007. All right. They also began investing in original content production later down the road. They do original stuff. But this transformation allowed Netflix to dominate the streaming market and significantly increase its subscriber base worldwide. They were virtually the first ones into the streaming market.
Streaming
They
videos.
were the first ones.
Yeah, they were, because that's when everybody was there like, oh, Netflix. Why would I pay for cable when I can pay $10 a month and go to Netflix?
Yep. And now they do their own content, and you can really just watch Netflix all the time. Except
for now, we're back up to paying $100 a month for cable because you can't just have Netflix. You have to have Disney Plus, and then you have to have Amazon. You have to have all these things.
Yep. So you're paying the same amount as you did for it. So now it's like, should I go back to cable? Get some active content? But anyway, by continuously innovating and expanding its content library, Netflix became a global entertainment giant. So they're obviously the biggest ones now. So they went from a dying what do you call it? A dying
Industry.
industry,
Yeah.
or,
System.
yeah, to becoming the innovator and the biggest in the new one. So they were listening and keeping an eye out on that market and made the change in time to really be the ones to capitalize on it.
And you can compare them in Netflix and Blockbuster because
Exactly.
they were in the same. Is that what you're about to say?
Yep.
They were in the same industry,
Yep.
but Netflix really pivoted, tried something new, and Blockbuster died.
And Blockbuster waited too long because they tried to get into that space too, and it was just too late at that point. I think they still have one store in Alaska.
Blockbuster does?
Yeah.
No,
Like
really?
I saw that on Netflix. Go figure.
Yeah.
There's the story of Blockbuster was on Netflix, and I think they still have a store in Alaska if it's still open. I think that was the last remaining store. That probably it's either still open or just recently closed.
So one thing to note too with that story is I bet it was very that for Netflix to step out like that, it was a big risk.
Oh,
Because it was a new industry,
Yep.
and they probably had to put millions of dollars into switching everything over. And then they're like, what if this doesn't work?
Yep.
Huge risk.
Yep. It was a do or die risk. Blockbuster died. Netflix survived.
So try things different.
And sometimes it's going to take an investment, whether it's an investment of time, whether it's an investment emotion, right? Or just a financial investment. It's going to take some type of investment to make a change. People don't like to invest.
They don't.
That's the problem.
They don't like change either.
Yep.
I don't like change or investing. I'm right there with you. So we're going to hear from our girl Christina really quick. And then we have a free resource for you. So the goal of this podcast from here on out isn't just to jibber jabber and blah, 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 but to give you some real things that you can walk away with and do within your business and incorporate these. So we have a free resource for you. This is, I think, the best one that we've done yet. I'm very excited about this one. So we're going to hear from Christina, and then we'll be back to tell you about it.
Let's go.
Why do we always dance when we're on break?
Like,
there's no music.
It's a chance to breathe a little bit.
Yeah. All right. You ready?
You ready?
Okay. Go, girl.
Christina, we love you.
Good stuff. She's got her own YouTube if you want to go check her out.
Yeah, she's doing some good stuff.
She is.
She's doing a lot of good content out there.
That girl is traveling all over the country, learning all kinds of things. She's a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
A great one.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a free resource for you guys. I gotta
Who
find my
don't like
notes.
free?
Yeah.
If you don't like free, raise your hand. Nobody's raising their hand.
So this is every week we come to you, except for the live. I haven't figured out it was last week. We did our very first live video.
Yeah.
I hope you guys like that. We're going to be doing the first Friday of every month is going to be a live video with an interview. The rest of them are recorded. But all of the ones that aren't live with a guest, we're going to provide a free resource. And this one is the best one yet. It's a business transformation worksheet.
I need that.
And there's a link in the description that will take you directly over to there. You don't have to create an account. You don't have to do nothing to get these. And it has a database of all the free resources that we've done in the back end. However, I do recommend that you create a free account in the business project because you get these and lots of other things.
Yeah.
Lots of videos. All the videos that Lorneth and Christina have ever done are archived in the free membership of the business project. There's articles, there's more printables, so much stuff. But if you click on the link in the description, it will take you to this business transformation worksheet. And in this worksheet, there's 6 steps. The first step is doing a current business analysis. So like, where are you now?
Looking at it, taking a step back.
Yes, because we don't take time to do that as business owners. We just keep on trucking.
Yep.
And we need to take time and do this. And this is even good if you've been in business for a week, if you haven't even started a business yet, if you've been in business for 10 years. this worksheet is applicable for you. So the first step is a current business analysis. The second step is an industry analysis. So like, what are people doing around you?
Yep.
What are businesses doing around you? And then the third step is identifying opportunities for transformation. Where can you try some different things and take some risks? And then the fourth step is ideation and brainstorming. Brainstorming is the fun part.
Yeah.
What can we do differently? And then the fifth step is, I mean, all this is great but it does nothing unless you take action.
Very true.
The fifth step is creating an action plan. Oh, I just zoomed out of it.
And then the sixth is executing.
Reflection.
Reflect.
Yeah. Reflecting on how it worked.
I think you should add a bonus. You
What?
gotta, because like you said,
Execute. Well, that's action. Is action and
action
executing?
plan.
Action plan.
You can create the action plan,
And
but
then
you gotta execute the action plan.
That's good. We should add
Yeah.
that.
And then you
Execution.
reflect.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be like, all right,
Look
how'd
at
that work
you.
out? Well,
This-
you can add that.
It's not too late. We might add that.
Yes.
You'll have to download it and see.
The whole point of this is to give you the tools. It's up to you to execute that, right? If you don't execute with the tools you have, then don't complain if stuff is not working.
If you keep getting the same results.
Yeah, if you keep getting the same results, then you're going to go insane.
All right. Good job, Henry Ford.
Yeah.
Very amazing, inspirational person in history. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got.
Yep. One of my favorite cars was a Ford.
Yeah.
My Ford Fusion when they first came out. I loved it.
So good. Very innovative. Thank you guys for watching. We hope that you enjoyed this podcast. Go look up the Savannah Bananas.
I'm going to do that.
Get motivated by their story.
Yeah.
Try something new. Go to the link in the description in the podcast notes and download your free resource. Fill that out. We want to hear from you too. When you fill it out, tell us your thoughts. Send it to us.
Let us know what your
Talk
action
about
plan
it.
is. Yeah.
On our social media. Share this podcast with other people that you think would enjoy it.
Please share for the masses because we want to help as many businesses as possible.
Click the ding ding bell. I don't know how all the things go. Share it in groups.
Share, follow,
Comment, like,
and the bell. Notification. Yeah.
Get notified.
Whatever that is.
All of that helps. All right, guys. We're going to peace out here. We will see you next week. Should we talk about our quote next week?
Let's do it.
Next week is, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog.
Ooh,
by
boxing
Archie
analogy.
Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
You knew who that was.
We're
Look
going
at you
boxing
go.
on that
We're
one.
going boxing. So I'll see you next week.